Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. The other day I had a guy come into the shop, and when he was paying for his purchases, he pulled out this little brown satchel thing. So I thought it was really cute. It reminded me of those medieval coin pouches that people used to have. You know, you'd see in the old movies or Robin Hood movies, they'd have a little satchel and they'd just pull out their coins. I really loved what he had, so he was kind enough to empty the contents of his satchel and let me take some photos of it so that I could actually come home and make this. That's what we're doing today. We're going to make a round satchel with a draw cord. You can use it to carry your own coins or even rune stones or your jacks, anything. Hang around. Okay, here's what we need. I have a really soft piece of quilted vinyl here. You don't have to use vinyl, you can use fabric if you want to, but I just figured since this is going to be for a man's little coin pouch, I might just use something that looks a little bit more blokey. So this is a very soft quilted vinyl. Have a couple of squares of fabric that are at least 11 inches square. And then you want a 30-inch piece of fabric for, we're going to make a cord, and this is 1 inch wide by 30 inches long. Then what I'm going to do also is have a whole bunch of eyelets around this bag. I'm going to use my really small eyelets for the vinyl cord to go through. And the other thing we need is a little toggle. So the first thing we want to do is make a circle of our fabric. I mark the center of my fabric just with a bit of chalk. So that's it there. And fold that in half. And then I'm going to measure 5 inches out all the way around. Because this is vinyl and it doesn't sit very well, I'm just going to pop a pin. I know I shouldn't use pins in vinyl, but close your eyes. Mark 5 inches on your ruler and place that 5-inch line on that center line that we've drawn, and from the center coming out I'm going to measure 5 inches all the way around. So I've got a circle marked around here. I'm going to take my other fabric as well and fold that in half, place the piece to be cut directly over the top, so I'm matching up the folds here, and then we're going to cut out that curved line from both pieces of fabric. There's our vinyl circle and our fabric circle, and we're now ready to put this together. Because we're working with circles, I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch seam allowance on this project rather than 1/4 inch, and the reason for that is that it gives me extra space to top stitch. It also makes it a lot easier to close up the opening when we're finished. Place your fabric right sides together, and we're going to stitch around the entire bag without leaving an opening. Okay, this has been clipped together all the way around. We'll take this to the machine and we'll sew all the way around the entire circle, but at this point here we'll backstitch, come around and backstitch here, but continue to sew this section here. We'll actually open up the stitches here when we're ready to turn it through. But by sewing this closed to begin with, you're going to give yourself a nice curved crease, which you'll see soon. Let's go and close this circle up. With your circle, decide where you want that opening to be. I'm going to use a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I'll do a back stitch here, and then I'm going to stitch on up to here. And I'll do a back stitch, and then I'll continue on all the way around. So I've clipped the edges, and then I found the section where I did the back stitching at the beginning and the end, and I've just removed those stitches from the fabric just in that section there. So that's given me a nice little opening. You can see on the vinyl, you can barely see the stitching line on the vinyl, but it does help us to form a nice curve when we close this up later. And on the fabric, same thing, we've got our stitching line, but we've also finger pressed it, which will help give us a nice curve when we close this pouch up. Carefully turn this the right way around. Push the edges of your fabric out with your fingers along the edges there. It'll help give it a nice curve. And then we're going to take this to the machine and top stitch. So just manipulate the fabric so that the fabric side of the pouch sits on this side. We want the vinyl to be the main feature of our fabric. So we want to make sure that the fabric is just on the very inside edge. Clip everything in place, including the opening. Okay, we are going to take this back to the machine. We'll do a top stitch all the way around. We're going to top stitch obviously from the top of the bag, not the inside of the bag. And the opening is just in this section here. I'll start with that first and then continue all the way around. All right, we've closed up our circle. It doesn't really matter that it's not quite flat, because this is going to become a pouch that will be drawn in like that. Now what we need to do is put some eyelets in here. So what I've done is I've placed the eyelets just near the outside of the circle, just to see how many I actually want to have. I want them opposite each other at each point. So I want one here and here in a straight line, and I want to do the same for all of the other eyelets. I'm going to fold the fabric right side together and mark a crease, and then just put a line on the outside edge so that I know where the center is here. Then I'll take the other side. I'll bring these two edges together and line that up, open that out and make a mark along that side as well. Then I've got these sections marked here. I'm going to bring these two up to here. So I'll match this one up with that side and that chalk mark up with that one. Press that, open it out. So we've made a mark here and here. And then we need to do one across here as well. So take this one up with that. And make my mark here. So what I have now are 8 markings. I do want to place my eyelets top and bottom, left and right. So I'll do those 4. But then on these sections, in each of these quadrants, I want to place eyelets. So we'll place one eyelet halfway between that point and halfway between these 2 points. I'm going to use a marker here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm measuring 3/4 of an inch in from the outside edge. So there's my left and right. So I'll mark a dot there, and directly opposite at 3/4 of an inch. And then we'll do these 2. So what I've got here is just a dot marked here, 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 and here. The other eyelets, we'll have to make sure it's in the center of this area here. And the way to do that is take this chalk mark and this one and bring those together. Finger press that, and where that fold is where you need an eyelet. Take this chalk mark and this one, bring those together, press it and mark it. We can come in 3/4 of an inch, do the same here, and we do actually want an eyelet here as well. So what we've got is 3 eyelets in between each quadrant. Bring this chalk mark and that one together. These 2 together, and you just continue this until you've got 3 chalk marks in each quadrant. And once you've placed all those marks, just continue on and mark the point where your holes are going to go. Okay, so I've got 16 eyelets around our circle. You can go less if you like. It was easier for me to work out the diagonals by putting this amount in, so you can go a little bit less. And now we're ready to go and punch holes in our fabric. Okay, I have a block of wood and a punch and a hammer. What I'm going to do now is just place my punch over the marks that I've made and put a hole in all the layers. Okay, I have the holes punched all the way around and we can now put our eyelets on. Okay, I've got my punch press thingamajig. Take the right side of your fabric and turn that face down. Place the little hat section onto your tool and then pop your hole over the top, and then get one of these little washers and stick that on the top, and then you just press it down. And there we have our first eyelet done. And you'll continue that all the way around. Now that we've got our eyelets in, we can take our cord and thread that through. So just go weave it in and out until you come back to the beginning again. And you want to finish up with the cord on the outside of the bag. Grab your toggle. If you don't have toggles, you can just tie your cord together. You don't have to have it. You tie that in a knot at the end. And there is our little pouch. So all you need to do now, turn it the right way up. I haven't got any coins with me. Let's pop these in there. And then just close up your pouch, bring your toggle in, and there you have your little vinyl pouch. It's very cute. And if we go hocus pocus and all that jazz, we can turn this little pouch of clips into a pouch of coins. So it's an easy little project to make and very easy to use as well. You just draw the cord. Isn't that a cute little pouch to have in your bag or your pocket? It's very cute. So what do you think? It's a very cute little bag. I'd probably make the cord a little bit shorter, but that's up to you. You can chop that down as you need to. So very easy to use. I have a tendency when customers come into the shop and I like their purses or bags, or in this case their little pouches, I often ask them if I can take photos of their belongings. They're usually pretty happy to accommodate, but this is certainly a nice cute little pouch. You don't have to use this for coins. You've seen me put clips in there. If you're going away and staying in a motel, you could easily pack away your jewellery for your trips, take out what you need and then just close it up again. Great for threads, all sorts of things really. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm not going to sew these to sell. I just liked what the guy had. Circles are a pain to sew. I won't make these to sell, but I do have an idea for a valet tray, which is a similar concept, which I'll probably make at some stage. I've actually had customers come in and ask for that. But this one, look, it's cute. What do you think? What will you use it for? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video and I shall catch you next time.